Welcome, everybody. Marc David here, founder of the Institute for the Psychology of Eating. We're in the Psychology of Eating podcast. I'm with Barbara today. Welcome, Barbara.
Hi, Marc. Thanks
Hi.
for having me.
I'm so happy you're here. I'm so happy we're doing this. For anybody tuning in to the first time to the podcast, Barbara and I, this is our first time meeting. And we get to have a session together and see if we can make some good things happen. So Barbara, if you could wave your magic wand, get whatever you wanted with food and body, what would that be for you?
I took some time thinking about this. I want to be brave enough to venture out and healthy enough to travel and hike and see the world safely. That is my next, I got to break through some walls to get there though.
Wow, so that sounds really exciting.
I'm very excited about it.
So what holds you back?
Fear. And I've lived through quite a few things, and I've done a lot of therapy about them, and I've read a library of books about how to lose weight, and your podcasts have really helped me get to the point that that's not really my goal. My goal is not to lose weight. That will come when I get to do the things that I want to do. I mean, I've read your books, The Nourishing Wisdom, The Slow Down Diet, and how pleasure in my life and joy in my life brings those things, those things don't come first. It's the things I get your whole philosophy of things, and I'm so excited, and you can probably tell, but I just kind of decided I need to leave those things in the past about fear, because I was assaulted on a date, and I've even sort of faced dating. I went on an app, and because I always thought, it'd have to be the right weight to meet a person or meet my soulmate. And I'm like, the right weight for whom? I mean, everyone has different shapes and sizes that they like and prefer. And I prefer larger men. So what am I doing to myself? I'm denying myself love because I think I'm not the right thing. What if I'm the right thing right now for somebody? And so I'm trying to, I feel like I'm in such a great place. I'm turning 60 and this year, and I'm just I get a do-over. And there is still this fear that I'm holding on to, and I'm trying to work through that spiritually and coming into my queendom, like you say. And but I'm doing A Course in Miracles, I'm doing Eckhart, there's Sark, which does really great succulent women books. Yeah. I love that. I love to nourish myself. I love that whole concept, but I'm still at this wall, and I honestly, I have all this great information, but I don't still have the answer.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think the biggest fear is that gets in your way?
Probably the biggest fear still is getting assaulted again. That's probably, it was horrific. And yeah, it took months to recover physically. And and the shame involved in it happened too. It was my first time, and just telling my parents it happened, I was, and I think that whole doesn't go away. I just have to reframe it. I just love the whole concept of reframing. But, people are telling me to carry a gun. I'm not a gun person, and I don't I don't feel safe around guns. I don't want to carry a gun. And, I went to this, I've gone to some trade shows looking for my vehicle. I've tried to really just like throw myself into the situation so I could, just embrace it and like get a community and feel safer. And I was hit on by the salesman, and it just really like scared me even more. Like, maybe this isn't the right way to do this. And yeah,
So how long ago was this assault?
it was in college. I
Mhm.
was 21.
Yes.
So, yep, I just had decided that I was gonna marry the person that I loved, and that was it. And I mean, I suppose it was Cinderella-ish, but yeah, I just decided it meant something, and my boyfriend decided it was his. So
So you've been married.
I have been married. I have 2 children, and it was an abusive marriage, of course, because I came from abuse. So I mean, it's just like one after the other, and uh, I feel like the only way to get past it is to dive into it. So I've done a lot of therapy about it. Like, what
Mhm.
do I do? What I am a part of these relationships. So what do I do to join into these relationships? Like, in family of origin, you can't really fix, but past that, you can get past it. But and I've had other relationships, but it's always like the same type of guy that just they like what I stand for, and then they like to just stumble over it.
Mhm. When was the last time you were in a relationship?
I was in a relationship, well, it was probably 2007 that it was a serious committed. And then I don't know that he was committed actually at this point. I think there was somebody else in that relationship. So yeah. I've had a hard time. I've done a lot of moving since and taking care of parents and stuff that just didn't really fit into the so it's been a while.
Mhm. And does your weight stop you at all in terms of dating? In terms of feeling like you can get out there?
Um, no, that's I've been really proud of myself. Like, I cleaned out my closet just recently, and I quit my job because I just decided I wasn't happy. I was dreading every day I got up, and I said, you know what? You don't have to dread every day. You can live on a budget really well. Just enjoy your life. And so I did that, and I cleaned out my closet. I got rid of the security blanket clothes and I just uh I said what fits me now, and just be that. And I found a lot of good things in there, and uh I uh I've been going on dates, and they've been really not good, but I'm just proud of myself for getting out there.
Mhm. Good for you. Where do you live?
I live in Oregon.
Mhm. And when you go out on dates, are you finding potential dates online or through friends?
Yes, I'm through an app. It's an app. Yep,
Mhm.
and we talk first, and I kind of we both kind of screen each other, and then
Mhm. Well, good for you for putting yourself out there.
thank you. It's scary
It
for
is
sure.
scary. Yes. How old are your kids?
I have a 28-year-old and a 26-year-old son. They're both sons. They're both through college, and
Mhm. Did they ever give you dating advice?
yes, all the time.
You can give me one message that they both say in common. What would it be? One message that they tend to deliver to you most commonly.
Drive yourself. Don't get picked up.
Mhm. So they want to protect you.
Yes, they're very protective of me.
Mhm.
they tend to think I'm gullible, and I don't think I'm gullible. I just like prefer to see the good in people instead of focus on, you know, yeah.
You have an innocence to you. You have a certain kind of innocence. You have a certain kind of childlike quality. You don't present necessarily as a 60-year-old in terms of your looks and your affect. You don't feel old. You feel young. And that's a great thing. And it can also, sometimes there's a part of us that hangs out at a certain age. So, yeah, if you have a family of origin experience that had abuse in it, or if you had an experience of abuse, then it's easy for a part of us to hang out at that age. Meaning you're 60-year-old Barbara, and you're a woman, you're a mom, and you've made it through life. So there's that part of you, and there's also the part of you that's kind of a girl when it comes to men. Part of you is a woman, part of you is a girl. And that's how I tend to look at it.
Okay.
And chances are, when we find ourselves choosing the same kind of person or attracting the same kind of person, it's because there's a person in us, a different voice, a different archetype, a different part of our experience, a certain age of us that's kind of doing the looking and doing the dating and doing the relating. So I would be interested for you in, when you're thinking about dating, because you're right, you've done a lot of work on yourself. And at some point you got to go, okay, I don't know that you need to do a lot of work on yourself per se. Books are great, courses are great, programs great, it's all great. And you probably, I'm going to guess, you know enough to be out there in the mix. And part of it, I think, would be an interesting exercise to ask the woman in you, ask the adult in you, ask the queen in you what she requires in a man.
Mm-hmm.
I like to do a list with these things. What are the absolute must-haves that a potential partner for you has to have? Like, he's got to have this. If he doesn't have it, deal breaker.
Okay.
What are the kinds of things that if this human being has this trait or this quality, it's a deal breaker? So what are the must-haves? What are the deal breakers?
Mm-hmm.
That's two separate lists. And the third list is, what are the nice-to-haves? Doesn't have to have that, but it'll be nice.
Yep, I did that with my counselor.
Mm-hmm.
And so I journal all the time. And so I have done this. And actually my very last date, which was very scary, I went with a man for dinner. I had suggested we just go for coffee or something, but he wanted to go to dinner. We'd spoken on the phone and it seemed to go really well. And the only deal breaker was he did a couple sort of off-color jokes, and the phone, I just called him out on them. I don't feel comfortable with those jokes. I'm not calling you a racist for saying that, but I'm not comfortable with that, and I don't feel that way. And I felt like I was very mature about it. And I went ahead and went to dinner, and then we started talking about things, and he was actually a repeat, kind of making fun of me being religious and doing work on myself. And that's repeat from past relationships. And sort of shocked at my intelligence and said, you seem sciencey, but you still have these childish beliefs. Like, and then I was, okay. I just paused, and then and he said, you seem like offended or something. And I said, yeah, well, I'm still kind of not over the comments on the phone the other day that were off color. So I'll just try to be kind about it. And so he just said, get out. And I said, what? And I offered to pay for my dinner, and he said, no, just leave. And I was like,
Okay.
wow.
Well, here's the thing. I think he did you a favor.
Yeah.
But let me tell you what I think the favor is. So
Yes.
I'm putting on my dating coach hat for you right now.
Okay.
So if I'm your dating coach, if I'm your older brother, telling you here's my opinion on dating, I really want to see you follow your intuition, number one. And number two, I would love to see you have hard, strong boundaries.
Yes.
So, opinion, your intuition was telling you no about this guy when you're on the phone, because he said some things that are not a consciousness match for you. If a man is not a consciousness match for you, cross him off the list immediately.
Yeah.
If you want to go to coffee and he wants to go to dinner, and he doesn't swing your way and say, yeah, okay, that's going to make you feel better, we're going to coffee. If he can't do that, done. Done. You don't know anybody anything. You don't owe anybody a chance. What I think you're learning is to be really clear and to have really strong boundaries and to trust your intuition and to be willing to just say no right off the bat. So in the future, if there's a red flag that comes up, the red flag that came up on the phone was 2 red flags. Off-color jokes means he's not a consciousness match for you.
Right.
If he's not a consciousness match for you, great. Like, thank you.
Yeah.
You just helped save me from a bad evening. The other piece of information he gave you, once again, was you said, I want to go for coffee. So there should be no argument there.
Right.
I prefer to go to coffee. So if he doesn't bow to that, that's not your guy.
Right. Right.
He's not respecting you right from the beginning. You wish to be respected. You wish to feel safe. How do you feel safe? You feel safe because you know somebody is listening for what you want. They're tracking you. And if he's a worthy man for you, he's going to be a gentleman.
Right. Right.
And he's going to treat you like a woman, which is, this is what's going to make you feel safe. Great. I get it.
A friend of mine gave me advice to do 3 no's before you ever meet them. Like, just a hard nose to something. And like, don't apologize. Don't just say affirmatively no to 3 things and count them and be aware of their response. And then you can meet them if that has gone safely.
Mm-hmm. I think that's interesting. And you're giving the person a chance to show up and to and make sure they're reasonable no's. Just like reasonable.
Right. Well, the coffee thing, like you're saying, like,
yeah, that's completely reasonable. Absolutely reasonable. So
yeah,
you don't know anybody, any explanation, you don't know anybody an apology. You can walk out on a date in the middle of the date. That's where I think he did you a favor by showing you. So he hit his limits. And you really hit your limit before you even went out on a date with him. You just
Yeah.
didn't notice it.
Yeah.
So I think you're learning how to, it's almost less about physical protection at this point. I think it's emotional protection, it's
Yeah.
psychic protection, it's spiritual protection. You are being aware of what those boundaries are. So yeah, you know what your physical boundaries are.
Yeah.
Don't hit, don't touch, unless I say it's okay.
Yeah. So
that's really clear. Now you just have to be clear about your other boundaries and have hard boundaries.
Yeah.
And those boundaries come from your requirements. So you have to be clear that you have requirements. What I'm suggesting to you is a key requirement is somebody needs to be a consciousness match for you. You need to feel, I think this person's kind of an equal. How do you tell? Yeah, well, you're in conversation and you're listening and you're picking up cues.
Yeah.
As soon as there's a caution light, I almost want to say no. Be willing to nip it in the bud and trust in an abundant universe. There's a lot of men, there's a lot of women, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people who are looking for a relationship. So there's tons of opportunities.
Yeah.
So it's you practicing hard no.
Yep.
Like, no, we're not going to do this. No, we're not going to get together.
Yeah. I think this is the perfect thing for me to go through before I would travel, because I am out there on my own. And that's the goal, is to be on my own and feel safe in the world. And I think that actually will bring what's coming next. So this is like practice basically trying on clothes for my next adventure, which will include someone.
Yes.
Because I do feel like I deserve that. I deserve finding happiness. But yeah, this is really, this is my practice so I can be safe and it's not dangerous.
It's respecting your own boundaries first and foremost. It's you being aware of where, like, no is one of the greatest words. It's so protective. It's so clear. And it's not the job of the person you're with to necessarily understand your boundaries. Because if somebody's not a consciousness match for you, if they are not elevated in the way you are, if they don't see the world in the way you do, if they have a moral and ethical compass that doesn't keep up with yours, then you cross them off the list immediately. You don't waste a moment. You don't waste any of your time.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like getting in touch with sort of the masculine side of you, the protector in you, the warrioress in you, the adult in you who's just very clear. That's not okay. And to use your intuition as well.
Yep.
You're right there. You're really so close. And it sounds like you've done a lot of work on yourself to get to this place. And you're excited.
I am. I'm determined that I'm going to get what I want.
Mhm.
And I know that it means that I have to face my fears.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I mean, life isn't about fears, and fearful of what I'm going to eat next is also, like, why? Like, I'm like trusting, I'm learning to really trust. When I was reading your book, Nourishing Wisdom, I just love the parts where you talk about, like, okay, you're craving chocolate, like, okay, just have it then. Like, what about your intuition are you denying? Your body is telling you something and you are choosing to ignore it. And I just felt like, and I did. I went and I had chocolate, and I was like, yeah, now I don't even want it. And I will, like, now I did. I had a lot of chocolate, but then I'm just like, yeah, I can take it or leave it now. I got to that point where I was just like, well, that was really fun. And that was really fun, like, having that experience and not holding back. And then I'm okay now. I don't have it hanging over me, and I understood more by just allowing that to happen and come up in me and say, what's the worst that would happen? It's not like,
Well, you decided to trust yourself. You decided to trust your body. You decided to trust your life. Like, trust that I can eat something that looks like it might be on the bad list. This is no good for
yeah,
me. This is going to make me fat.
yeah,
This is going to do
yeah,
something horrible to me. And just trust. And part of the trust is really trusting in ourselves, that even if you eat the cake and you end up eating a whole cake,
mhm,
trust that you'll recover, trust that you'll stand by yourself, trust that you're not going to beat yourself up for the
yeah,
next.
yeah,
And it's all about learning to stand by ourselves. Trust begins with just being able to trust my own body, trust my own experience, trust how I'm built. We're built for pleasure.
yeah,
And we're taught to be afraid of it, and we want it, but we're afraid of it. And when we can't trust our own pleasure, we are very insecure and we're not living life to our fullest. And we can't really play, and we can't really experience it, and we can't really explore.
yeah,
So it sounds like, trust is a lesson. Trust is a lesson for all of us. Everybody's been in some way, shape, or form disappointed or abused or hurt or
yep,
traumatized, or something happened and we conclude, I can't trust, fill in the blank, men, women, people, just whatever it is.
right,
And the beauty is there's a lot of good people in the world. There's a lot of good humans in the world, and we each have a fascinating journey, I think. And part of your journey is being with yourself so you can live in trust, and learning how to protect yourself. And protecting yourself, so many ways to do that. But at your age, at Queen's age, no wasting time. No
right,
wasting time with people who don't measure up,
right,
especially when you're dating. Because you don't have time. You don't have time to waste. Queen doesn't like her time wasted. Queen wants quality experiences, wants to hang around quality people that match her.
right,
So if somebody clearly doesn't match you, You cross them off the list immediately.
Be gone with you.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Banished from the queendom. Yes.
Yes.
No explaining necessary. No arguments necessary. You don't
Right.
have to justify it. You can have a bad feeling about somebody and they haven't done anything wrong,
Right.
and still choose to say, no, I'm not going to do this.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go out on a date with you, or I'm leaving in the middle of this date.
Right.
And you don't have to explain. Literally, you don't owe anybody that.
Right.
If it's in the service of protecting the queen. So it's sort of like being able to, for the queen to pull out, her little sword when she needs it.
Sure. Yep.
But it's a sword of your consciousness.
I have this fascination. I'm Danish, so and that I was a Viking, and so I am a Viking, and so like I have this new fascination with finding that power in me.
I love that. That's a great archetype to play with.
Because I'm very strong physically and I'm very strong emotionally. I mean, no one could have lived through what I've lived through and not be strong. So but what I need to learn is how to play again. And I think that part of me, because of all this stuff, has like kind of shut down, and the play and the intuition need to come together. And like I can play like a grown up, but I don't have to be a child to play, but I have to play again. Everything's been so serious for so long that this new dating thing is like, I giggled and stuff, and and then, but that's bringing back the child, which has to come forth, but I also have to bring that intuition in together, so that not as a guard, but just as to rule the outcome.
Yes. So it's not leading with your innocent child as you approach a date, or as you approach a potential relationship, or as
Right.
you approach the possibility of a date. You're not leading with your innocent child. Oh my God, this is so much fun. Like, sure, that part's going to crop up. Absolutely. It's sweet. But
Right.
you're not leading with that. You're leading with your queen. You're leading with your adult. You're leading with your clear mind. And you're allowing the queen to sit in the chair. And yeah, you can bring out the kid in you when you're clear she's absolutely safe. Right.
Well, or be the Viking in me and come on strong and be proud of it. I am strong. And if you can't handle that, then, I think Viking women were super powerful and equal in their, and that's exactly what I want. I want definitely there's more male and female roles, but I do want the equality of, owning my own mistakes, and, I want that. So I want to bring that powerfulness to my life.
Good for you. So if you had one requirement in a partner,
yes,
that seems to be above all else, what would it be?
One. Wow.
Okay, two.
Okay. Well, I actually wrote down intelligence and honesty. And so I do require that they are like intelligent emotionally and book wise, I guess. My kids are both super intelligent. I have a chemical engineer and a computer scientist, and I just need that. I need to be able to talk about anything, and my interests are diverse, and so
I want to suggest, try this on,
yeah.
that you aim a little higher. Intelligence, okay, that's a very strong preference. I totally get that. I want to see you consider putting towards the very top of your list in terms of what you're looking for in a partner is somebody who sees and respects and elevates the queen in you.
Yeah.
Somebody who elevates the woman in you, somebody who sees the woman in you.
Yeah.
And that they see it, they get it, and that's what they want. And they want the best for you and the best of you. Aim high. Sure, you'd like them to be intelligent.
Well, I've been like only like interested in on the site. Like I can't. I feel bad because, and okay, here we go. Here I feel bad because I only want like higher educated people and on the site, and I feel I just have a graduate degree. I don't have I don't have a graduate degree. But that is what I'm more interested in. I have found I have more in common with those people, and so that is who I've been steering towards. But I don't know. But they're not getting me. They're not getting
Right.
me.
That's why I'm saying I want you to put that first. Somebody who gets you. And from there, let the chips fall where they may, because that's the most important thing, somebody to get you. They could be brilliant and have, you know, 2 different PhDs, and they don't get you, they don't see you, they don't understand you.
Yeah.
But they gotta have a good conversation.
Right.
That's not enough.
Right.
So that's why I'm saying lead with your highest aspiration for yourself that you want in a partner. Lead with.
Yeah.
You want somebody who elevates you as a person, elevates you as a woman, elevates you as a queen.
Yeah.
How does it feel when I say that? How does it land for you?
It's just it's still a work in I'm a work in progress. I just try to give myself that leeway that, but I am coming into my self-worth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And yeah, it just has to build. And I think I was actually terrified of this dating thing, but I think it's probably the best exercise that I can do for myself. To it feels cold and but helpful in getting me more focused. You know what I'm saying?
You know, when you look at nature, you look at all animals in nature, mammals, reptiles, whales, dolphins, birds even, mating rituals can be pretty intense.
Yeah.
They can be pretty intense. A lot of times you got males fighting each other for the female.
Mm-hmm.
There's a certain potency in the mating ritual. Now we're humans, so we're different from the creatures. And I like when you say, like, this has been a good practice for me, because it is practice. And you are in a human kind of mating ritual. So it's up to you in terms of how you do that. You get to invent that for yourself.
Right.
And the more you are conscious of how you wish to do your mating ritual, the more you can attract the person you actually want. That's why I'm saying in your mating ritual, shoot for the highest that you want in a person.
Right.
And yeah, that means you have to be worth it. You have to be worth it that you can attract somebody who sees the best in you and wants the best for you.
Right.
I'd love to see that number one for your list. 1A, 1B, 1C.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing to think about how that would feel. Imagine how it would feel like to be in relationship with a partner, with a man who gets you and sees you and wants the best for you. Period.
Right.
So this is you healing your family of origin stuff. Because the beauty is you don't live in your parents' house anymore, and you get to make up now how you do relationship.
Yep. My kids have always told me they're astonished how women are always bending and twisting, and they always say, like, women are in charge. Like, how do you not know that, Mom? Women are in charge. Women are in charge of the house. Like, the way things look, women are in charge. Like, own that, Mom. And like you decide what happens in a relationship, or and if the guy's gonna come along, he's gonna come along, but like, lead. because they're always saying, like, there's not equality, women are in charge. And they always have been, and I just don't understand how women don't know that. That's what they're always saying to me.
Well, you got some smart sons, and I think they're helping you balance out some other parts of you.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's also good for the feminine to be led, and it's also good for the feminine to lead.
It's a balance. Yes.
Yeah, it's a dance. Well, I have great hope for you.
Thank you.
Feels like you're ready, and it feels like you want it, and you're open, and you're here, and you just need to keep standing by yourself and keep noticing what your boundaries are, and be willing to have strong ones. Be willing to have very strong boundaries, no apologies.
Yeah. Yep.
Barbara, thanks for such a good conversation. Thanks for such a real conversation. I hope this was helpful for you.
Thank you, Marc. I appreciate it. I will continue to watch your segments. They have been really helpful for me. Thank you. And your books. Thank you.
Thanks for being so kind. I appreciate you. And I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Take care, my friends.
Hey friends, we're so happy that you've joined us for another episode of The Psychology of Eating with Marc David. Are you loving these episodes? Then simply subscribe and you'll never miss an episode again. We'd also love it if you'd leave us a comment below so we can hear more about your own journey with food and body. And if you're curious about what we offer at the Institute for the Psychology of Eating, including our internationally acclaimed coach certification training that's rooted in dynamic eating psychology and mind-body nutrition, please head on over to our website, psychologyofeating.com. Until next time, take care, and remember, having the body you want starts with loving the body you have.